Hello. My name is Callista, and welcome back to The Roottrees Are Dead. In the last episode, we managed to get another name locked in, and it just caused a cavalcade. We have made a bunch of progress. This is looking very healthy. Not this side of the family tree. This is still looking a wee bit anemic, but like this portion is looking great. Now, at the end of the last episode, we found a conspiracy theory website, and I just very quickly want to see if we can search for any of this. Oh, okay. Hi. You find a simple page called The Art of Rafferty, copyright 1997, on Prodigy that lists the author's email address as chrisraff75@prodigy.us. Below a bunch of gifts that say under construction, there are a few art pieces. The first is a painting captioned "Me and my fiance, Lulu," a painting I did for my first year of college that I plan to give her when we get married in May. Go Tartans. There is an odd collage called Cousins, which seems to be made up of 3 scrambled images. The accompanying artist's statement says, "We had to create a piece of art about our family. I asked as many of my extended family of cousins for their pictures as I could, even some I've never met. Only a few of them got back to me, and my teacher said I wasn't allowed to use pictures of Raina, Riley, or Rose, so I had to get creative and use only my 3rd cousins. This includes Davy, he swims for Yukon, and Bethany's yearbook picture. She's Davy's younger sister, and Stephanie, who's an only child. Chris's artwork has been added to your evidence, but the cousins photos will need to be unscrambled before you can use them. You've downloaded a new application, Pixpop, to edit the photos." Okay, new page. This is Chris. There we go. And yeah, this has to be Rafferty. We'll highlight that. My 3rd cousins, Davy, and Stephanie, who is an only child. Okay, but we need to unscramble some stuff first before we can use it. Okay. Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to look at here. What the hell is this? Okay. You find more conspiracy websites. Some people out there claim the Roottrees are changing their candy recipe to include more and more chemicals, and that this was done in cooperation with bad actors from an unknown government. They claim that due to a loophole in the calendar, it is possible to get away with nearly any crime on a leap day so long as it isn't discovered until after the day is over, and that means every 4 years on a leap day, the Roottree company hosts a meeting with foreign agents to conspire to poison our children. Their proof is that Roottee candies contain polyglycerol polyricinoleate, an ingredient of the candy that wasn't there when it first released. They claim it is added in an attempt to addict people and eventually induce mind control. The website claims to sell pills that counteract this effect for children that have already eaten Roottee candy in the past. You do an additional search for polyglycerol something or other, and it seems to be an emulsifier in chocolates approved by the FDA and widely used across many products. Yeah, this is crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, this is just... Yeah, this is all just kind of mental. I'm fine. Okay. So, oh, hello. Okay, so... I'm like, you're spelling fiance wrong. You're spelling fiance wrong, but it's okay. This art piece was found on the portfolio of college student Chris Rafferty. It was referred to as self-portrait of me and my fiance, Lulu. Okay. Let's bung them in. So, Lulu, Louisa, and then I think that's you. And then I think you are Chris Rafferty. You appear to be a college student. And there you are. Okay. Now I want to say, yeah, I think I have 2 filled in. Yeah, if I can just, to be fair, I have a lot. I have a lot filled in, but no image. Oh, I'd like to get some confirmations. I'd like to get some confirmations going. And then okay. Okay, we will... I'm thinking we'll do that in a bit. I've had all of this evidence for ages. For ages. I want to get to it. Okay. This was buried under a ton of other mail that Carl left in his inbox. It had a handwritten note attached that seemed personal. It's a flyer about a candidate for local office, Stephanie Jones. On the back is an excerpt from a newspaper article from Butler County Times about her campaign. Stephanie may have grown up in an unconventional family, to say the least, but in her words, it was still full of love. And now, 22 years later, with a baby of her own due around Christmas, her message for voters is simply, love is our future. The handwritten note says, Carl, I know we don't see eye to eye when it comes to the candy company, but if you could talk to your girls about putting out a statement supporting Stephanie, she could use the publicity your daughters bring. Don't let our conflict spread to the next generation. CM. Okay, so this is someone from Carl's generation asking for an endorsement. Vote for Stephanie Jones for City Council. Better for Butler County. I'm thinking, can we find the Butler County Times? Maybe we can find the full article. Butler. Aha! The most recent mention of Stephanie Jones is a small report detailing the election results from last month's election. Stephanie apparently won her election. You also find the full version of the newspaper clipping on the back of the campaign mailer. While most of it is unimportant, you do find the following. Stephanie Jones, born Stephanie Landon until her marriage to local business owner Brian Jones, has lived in Butler County her whole life. Okay, let's... New page. New page. Stephanie. Okay. So, born Stephanie Landon. Her husband is Brian Jones, has lived in Butler County her whole life. Stephanie grew up in a home without a father, with my mother and her partner. I essentially had an entirely female influence. Okay. Though she is a distant cousin of the Roottrees, her mother Caroline, a local artist, who has appeared on the front page of the Butler County Times in the past, has often come out opposed to the corporation's policies regarding deforestation of indigenous trees to expand their maple farms. Unlike my mother, I'm not a fighter. I want to bring love to the world. Okay. So, Caroline... I mean... Would that be... What would Caroline's surname be? Caroline Landon? Caroline Roottree? I mean, we might be able... Let's see. Let's see. We have a Caroline Morden. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any? Adoption or otherwise. Morden. Okay. I'm thinking I might have a lead here. Okay. So let's go. Morden. Okay, you find a cover story about local art installations, including one by Caroline Morden. This isn't much about Caroline as a person, this is mostly a listing of art in Butler County. She seems to get top billing. Accompanying the story, there is an image of Caroline standing beside a large metal sculpture of a mermaid. It is captioned, Caroline standing next to her sculpture, Atlantis Broken. This sculpture is one of many works featured in her upcoming book, Self-Portrait, Art and the Beauty of Women. According to a quote further down, Atlantis' burden is meant to symbolise a society split by indecision over whether women should be equals or something to protect. The picture on the front page has been added to your evidence. Okay. So that is... Hello! Ooh. Very nice. Okay. Yeah. Copy. And then back to you. No, public library. There we go. And that is... Okie doke. Published 1987, softcover large, art photography sculpture dedicated to Eloise and Stephanie. Mostly black and white pictures of Caroline's art. The centerpiece is a series of full-color nude self-portraits at different ages, stretching from 25 to 30. They certainly have not been added to your evidence. In the intro, Caroline talks about influences. She was one of the youngest in her generation, and in her late teens, she felt betrayed when her sister Gwendolyn and cousin Bonnie gave up on dreams to settle for boring men. She especially dislikes her brother-in-law, Dr. Wilson, who she calls completely bogus. Their marriages led her to double down on her passions, art and the environment. She even married a man who was the opposite of boring, which was an overcorrection. She comes out strongly against the Roottrees company's effect on the local environment, and rues how she was not able to convince her father, Zach, to make changes to policy. She also explains that her marriage to Mark led to the most volatile moments in her life, all negative, and that the only good thing he ever gave her was a daughter. Leaving them all behind for good has pushed her to pursue her true loves, art and the beauty of women. Fair play. Fair play to your love. I would assume this is your partner. Okay. Okay, let's go. So, this is you, Caroline. Caroline Morden. You are... Actually, let me... Mark Landon. And I think this is Eloise. Okay, no surname given. I think you are Brian. Here's a picture of you. You are an artist. There we go. There we go. Oh. Oh.
So, you may have heard the news. Some of Carl's things have gone missing. That includes the pictures and mail I brought you earlier. I promise I didn't steal it. But I did borrow it. I'll return it once we're done. Let me deal with my family in the meantime. guess that means I've officially confessed.
I did wonder. You know, obviously we haven't been told so far who this mystery person is. I did wonder.
I'm a Roottrees. I assure you I have a reasonable explanation for the secrecy. I'm about to do something big the family doesn't approve of. If you could just wait a little bit longer, I'll tell you more, in person. I'll return after 15 more blood relatives.
I'm thinking. So, if they're a Roottrees, then they're on this list somewhere. There is one person that we know is pissed at the family. I don't have a picture for you yet. I don't have a picture. But Lauren outright said, Samantha is pissed at the family. And I don't think Lauren understood. I think Lauren is incredibly privileged, and she acknowledges that privilege, but she doesn't understand just how privileged she is. Because her assumption was that, oh, Samantha is pissed because she was abandoned to this really shitty life where she had to do manual labor and she had to live with some strangers and da-da-da-da-da. I don't think it's occurred to her that those strangers were her adopted family. They raised her. Presumably they loved her. And now, all of that has been ripped away from her, and she's a Roottrees. You're a Roottrees, and you have to deal with all of this crap. Where Lauren sees, like, oh, wealth, prestige, I think Samantha saw a cage and everything she ever knew being destroyed right in front of her eyes, and they're expecting her to be grateful. Because you have money now. You have the farm. You're in control of the peasants. Dude, those are her people. She was raised amongst them. They are her people. That's her tribe. And you're calling them peasants. Like a dick. We know for certain that one person is pissed at this family. And it's a woman. The person who's been giving us all this shit is a woman. I have my eye on you, Samantha. I have my eye on you. Okay. Yeah, but down here, I can fill this in. So you are Stephanie Landon, and you are a politician. Okay. You also We had a lot of stuff here. Her sister Gwendolyn and her cousin Bonnie. So you... Ooh, we have an actual Roottrees here. But no, you would be Gwendolyn Morden, because your dad's a Morden. And your sister's a Morden. Cousin Bonnie. That would be someone over here. Because your cousins are your uncle or aunt's kids. So yeah. One of these is Bonnie. Don't know who. Do we have... We don't have a page for Angelica. I'll combine Angelica and Zach. There we go. They gave up on their dreams to settle for boring men. She dislikes her brother-in-law, Dr. Wilson. Okay. Do we have... Well, if it's your brother-in-law... Oh, okay. We have a lot of... Oh, it's clearly not you, because Jem, that's a girl's name. One of you is a doctor, and I don't know who. Okay. Right, but that's it, I think. That's it, I think. Okay. But I think that is... Excuse me. Do you wanna... There we go. There we go. I think that's everything there. Yep. Okay, next up is this. This photo has a note attached from your employer. Here's a bonus. When I pulled the water-damaged picture of the free spirits out of the frame, this fell out too. Written on the back of the photo is, couldn't make the reunion, wishing you well from Paris, Gwen and the boys. So yeah, these are, well, I can, Gwen? Gwen, I've got an alternate picture for you. Right there. But okay, so these, Gwen's boys. So they belong there, don't know which order though. Okay. This photo was tucked inside an envelope with a letter beneath a candle in the corner of his office. The letter says, "To Carl and Brenda, I'm sorry that you were unable to attend the funeral. It's traditional to have it as soon as possible, and Ernie, more than anyone else on Earth, knew how busy your job can be. I've enclosed a Shiva candle identical to ours if you'd like to pay your respects, though it's not expected for those outside the faith to do so. Ernie was a man full of love, not only for his family, but for his family's legacy. He had an immense amount of pride for the work you three did together, as well as how Carl has carried on for him after taking over. As for myself, it is impossible to express my gratitude enough for rescuing us from the panic and burden of endless bills. Though we caught it too late for him to get on the donor list, the company took care of us beyond our wildest expectations. It went unsaid at the time, but Ernie and I knew it had to have been Carl that convinced the trust, and that it was no coincidence that it happened shortly after your visit, Brenda. Up until the end, Ernie and I had to stay strong, especially for Nicole's sake. We could never have done that without the two of you fighting for us. Much love, Debbie." Okay, we have a couple. The Ernies are all over here. I get their exact... Oh, wait a minute. We have a picture for the spouse here. Whereas we don't have a picture for the spouse here. I think this is Ernie Jr. And was there... One second, there was, up here. There was mention. Ernie Madsen Jr. stepped down. I think. So we know. So it was Elias first. You second. I definitely think you were a president. I don't know which one though. So that is you. Because I have in my head there's a in here. Yeah, Ernie Jr. has been learning the day-to-day from Zach. So that would imply that So Zach was the second president. That would imply that he was the third. But then we know that he's the fifth. So where's the fourth? Ooh. I'm gonna leave that blank for now. I'm gonna leave that blank because I feel confused. You. Yeah, Ernie knew how busy your job can be because he was also one of the presidents. So he was immediately before Carl, which would make him the fourth. Okay. And then your names... You're Debbie, and your kid is Nicole. Actually, let me... Oop. Deborah. And then... Nicole Madsen, which would make you over here. Where is it? Because you were married to a Nicole. That would make you Nicole Smith. And you're a child. Okay. Yeah, so we know Ernie had he had heart disease or something along those lines, and they didn't catch it in time. But then Carl and Brenda stepped in and were like, "Hey, just send him some more money. Send him some more money for the family." And now we have Lauren's diary contains some labelled pictures. This is the 5 Pieces. Caption: This picture was famous in our house. Pop even had it framed. That's him on the left. Right, left. Okay, that's him on the left. It was taken in 1935 to celebrate the move to the new warehouse that Eli Jr. had designed. Angie and I both wanted to be in the photo since Miracle was in it, and the three of us were all about the same age. We were told only the 5 pieces, which really didn't go over well to say the least. Eventually, I suppose, to stop the tantrums, they posed us in front of the camera with Mr. Morden, who was there with Aunt Gwendolyn. I found out years later that they never even took a second photo. Oh, that's... Oh. That would be upsetting. That would be upsetting. But still, we now have... So we know that that is Pop. Okay, excellent. And okay, from there's more. We have Miracle, and then we have, I mean, she's blonde. I would assume the mother would also be blonde. And then you. Okay, up to 24 very swiftly. And then that leaves you. Okay. Okay. Good stuff. I still don't know your name. How many Roottrees do we have left? So we have a Gwendolyn, a Jack, Christina, November, Robert, Ronald, Tessa. God, I'm just looking. It's starting to look really healthy, and I'm into this. I'm just like, this is satisfying. This is satisfying. Okay, yeah, that's that. And then on to... We have... Oh, excuse you. This photo has a note attached from your employer. Every 20 or so years, the Roottrees would hold a big reunion and recreate an old family photo. This is the one from the 70s, and Carl's the teenager in the middle. So that's Carl. Sorry about the water damage. A pipe burst in Carl's office. On the back of the photo, in childish print writing, it says November. There are also a large number of cursive signatures. They include Bonnie, next President Guy Hudson, Ernie Jr., Caroline, Gwyneth M., Gwendolyn, Miracle Jr., Jim Rootree, Clark, Carl, and Eli M. Okay. We do have... we were told that Sam's kids had massive glasses. We were told that. Yeah, Ernie Jr. And Ernie Jr. is there. Okay. I'm like, where do I want to start? Well, we can... I do want to put in all of the additional pictures. Yeah, Jim's in there somewhere. So not you. God, it... I wouldn't like to guess. But what we can do. Yeah, glasses. And then you are you. I'm like, is there anyone? I'm like, I would like to lock people in. Oh, there goes my timer. You know what? I think in the next episode, I'm going to look at that photo again. I think I'm just going to spend a little bit of time looking at the photos and trying to put faces to names. But that will have to wait until the next episode. So until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. A special thanks to my channel members, such as SM2K, Christopher K. Davis, CGG, and Kevin Bicknell. I've been Kallista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.